Yo, 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 you tuning in to the Notion Podcast. This your boy Dizzy D Spill with my co-host in the building.
Jelani Evans.
How you doing, bruh?
Man, I'm beat. I'm busy. I'm not busy. Productive weekend. You know what I'm
So,
saying? A lot
tired and
going on.
productive.
Yeah, well, that's usually how it goes, right? If you're productive enough, you'll be tired.
Yeah.
I had to make sure I corrected myself though, because you can be busy and not be productive. You
Yeah, you
can't
could be
be
busy doing a whole lot of nothing.
nothing, but you can't be productive and not be busy. So I have to make sure I get that right. But I mean, it's good though. Can't complain.
I'm gonna have to define that one day as far as in the difference with being the difference between being busy because of productivity and being busy doing a whole lot of nothing.
Oh, that's
Cause
easy. I could be busy playing video games all day, ignoring my phone because I'm deep into a mission and shooting up stuff or shooting buckets and ignoring my phone or whatever. Or I can be productive, actually executing, making things happen
right.
that would progress either my personal or my business. You feel me?
Yeah.
There you guys
Business never stops.
How you doing now?
I'm good, man. I'm just anticipating getting back into the rhythm of consistently releasing music and making sure that everything is buttoned up and ready to go as far as releases. Brainstorming some LaVar Cole. Um, I'm really, really eager to get out and see what's cracking with the photography. I know I wear a lot of hats, but they're all real.
Yeah, I was about to say, you got a project coming out soon. Was it like 9 days from now or something like that?
Yeah, it's 9 days. It's just actually a little something before the boom. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But
so it's like a little EP joint you got going on?
yeah, it's gonna. Well, I actually have. This is the plan. I have a 2-part EP that I want to put out.
Oh, okay, 2-part.
Yeah, and then I want to drop a very, very dope single before all of that, and then go ahead with the EP, and then it's gonna be real creative. I just refuse to do an album right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Can
why I
I
did a
ask why?
2-part. Well, it's because I'm not in the position that I want to be. Not in the position that people think I should be in, but more in the position that I want to be. Like, I take it serious. So there's people I admire that I want to collaborate with. There's people that I'm not able to reach yet that I want to at least be in the position to reach. And if it doesn't work out or the time isn't right, at least I have that opportunity, because for me, I take what I want to put out serious, and I want to do what I want to do rather than just you should do. And one of the people that I respected the most that did that was Nip. Nip put out like a gang of music. Like, it's kind of hard to be like, oh, he only has one album, as if he didn't have the opportunity. But he waited until the time was right, and he put out a album. But his body of work does not feel like one album. It feels like a long running, a marathon.
Well, and that's
To
because
keep it real.
like by definition, he put out one studio album.
Yes. One studio
But
album
at
for
the
sure.
end of the day, if you listen to a lot of his music from an early point till that studio album, the message, the lyrics,
Yeah.
the mixing and mastering, everything continued to improve to the point that when
Yeah.
he really started calling it TMC, Marathon Continues, and
Right.
all of these things, they were actual albums. They were projects. He was approaching every project as it was a studio album, regardless of whether it was released. And you know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
he built up to that, but he was already there from a musical standpoint.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I respect. Like, it doesn't mean that I never want to do. I do want to drop an album, but I want to have the options to pivot how I want to with different ideas and brainstorming, rather than just, I need to put out an album.
No, I do it. Well, it's like in an interview, like Jay-Z said, like nobody or nothing will ever rush my creative process.
Yeah, exactly.
And you definitely don't want to rush your creative process. You want to execute when you're ready to, and make sure that the timing is right and that
Real
you're
talk.
confident and pleased with what it is you're going to put out. And a lot of times when you
For sure.
rush or when you try to, appease others,
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Afterwards, you're like, I shouldn't have did this. I shouldn't have did that. I should
Yeah.
have went about it this way. So you definitely want to make sure that you're executing at your own pace and you're releasing things when you're ready to.
Exactly. Yeah, that's definitely the plan.
You
But
also mentioned something about photography, and I need to shoot some, but and we'll discuss that off camera or whatever.
yeah, none of your business.
Not yet, anyways.
None of your business. Not yet. Um, Other than that, man, you got any updates and on the business or things that might be aligned with the business, like news in the industry that you're in?
I'm actually getting ready to do a spring summer drop for the brand.
Okay.
Yeah, it's getting hot out, so shorts and shirts, sets, things of that nature. I'm actually dealing with a better distributor as far as fabrics go, so some top tier stuff as far as I'm concerned. So I'm excited about that. As far as sneaker news, there's been two different restocks. There was a Thunder 4 Jordan restock
Okay.
or not a restock stock. That was a shock drop on the sneakers app that seemed to go pretty well. Like everybody was able to get access and everything. And then there was
Look at y'all.
a restock on the lost and found Jordan 1s on the sneaker app. And as far as I'm aware, the app crashed and a lot of people weren't able. It was the same nonsense that people are used to when it comes to the sneaker app. And I mean, it's kind of funny because everybody was like, oh, the restock's coming. Everybody should be able to cop. It's going to go smoothly.
Yeah.
And it did not.
Ouch.
Yeah, man.
Ouch.
Kind of sucks. On the flip side, Baklava or Action Bronson, for those who aren't familiar, Joe Fresh Goods have been dropping kicks with New Balance. New Balance is kind of the way right now.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of different color schemes, materials, colorways. So New Balance might be the shoe of the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some New Balances. All right.
Yeah, man. I mean, they got stuff.
They do.
got-
They do. They're a sleeper.
They got. I think people waking up.
Yeah. At least for the summertime, they're like, yo,
Especially with the colors, because they lively. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're bright. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I like a couple bright colors here and there.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Just here and there, though. Just a little dash of it.
I like being flamboyant.
Yeah. With this being a boss talk, I'm sorry. This is a boss talk episode. If you can't tell, for those that are new here at the Notion Podcast, me and my brother, my co-host Jelani Evans, we do something called boss talk episodes, where we kind of give you some game on things that we're knowledgeable about running businesses, and we also will give a couple rants here and there because of the bloopery that be going on in the business world and the Sacramento scene.
He censored himself.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, I get tired of editing that, bro. So I'm gonna just Dougie Fresh it.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? But basically with the topic, I think this is an important thing that isn't talked about a lot as far as in quitting. When to quit, when to let it go, because we live in a society where we're still being told lies on the level of, never quit, never give up, da da da. I think in certain aspects, you should follow that belief. But I do believe there is a time when you should finally say, you know what? I'm done. And for those that think that that's true, before you make it some controversy, there's a word called retirement. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Put to rest, put to bed. All of those things are not necessarily looked at as negative. You know what I mean? Depending on, what conversation we're having. So, but, quitting can be a positive depending on the situation and the magnitude of it. So, I wanted to start with you and get your take on what you thought about that, and kind of go down some bullet points on when you should let it go, when you should quit.
It, just quit, tap out. No, don't do that. I mean, I guess it really all depends.
Right.
I would like to think that anybody who has become an entrepreneur, who's initiated a business, has had a game plan or something of an outline, a map, how to execute.
Right.
And so I would say, because at the end of the day, success is, everybody should have their own definition of success. You know what I'm saying? Does
Yes.
ultimately mean how much money you've accumulated. You know what I'm saying? Have you been able to execute everything you wanted to?
Hmm.
Have you been able to, you know what I'm saying, be consistent, reach certain people, make certain milestones happen? So it all depends. I mean, but now if you have trouble with your outline,
Hmm.
with your execution, if it's draining, if you feel like more money is going in than it's going out and it's stressful and you're not enjoying it, you're not having fun, then I would say quit because you're wearing yourself out for nothing.
Absolutely. More things are more important in your life than
100%. And
worrying about
so
if you should quit or not.
if you are having those type of issues, then I would say quit. Now, on the same breath, if you've only been at it for a year and a half, 2 years, you shouldn't be looking to quit because anybody should know that it takes about 2.5, 3 years before you may even start to yield a profit.
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, you have to build it up, you have to have a foundation, build it up, and being consistent in that before you actually start seeing things come to fruition. So it's just a matter of how the business is moving and how it's affecting you from a mental standpoint, I would say.
Hmm.
So I mean, like I said, if it's draining you, if you're stressed out, if you're not enjoying it, because somebody told me, somebody who has done a lot in life, they're like, if you're not really enjoying what it is you're doing and you're no longer passionate about it, then it's actually time to look to, possibly hang it up and move a different route. And that's not, I don't look at that as quitting. That's looking at, knowing when to shift gears and focus your attention elsewhere. If something isn't benefiting or profiting you, and not so always financial, but from a mental standpoint, emotionally, you know what I'm saying? How's
Hmm.
your spirit? Where's your energy at?
Right.
And if it's all being drained and you're whooped and you wake up every day like, dang, oh my gosh, how am I gonna make this work? That's stress out the gate, and stress is a silent killer.
Yeah, it
So
is.
you might be time to hang it up. You know what I'm saying? And don't look at it as you failed. I mean, were you able to knock out X, Y, and Z? I mean, do you
Yeah.
feel like you've run your race? And if so, then knock it out. Now, if you haven't, and you feel like you're gonna have regrets from hanging it up, you know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
you feel like I didn't do all of this, so if I stop now, then
Yeah.
don't.
If you know you're not ready completely to let it go.
And that's kind of difficult, like when you look at it like that, because like I said, if you have an outline or a game plan and you haven't reached certain goals,
You're always gonna have that question in the back of your mind, like,
what
what
if?
if? Yeah, and you
Hmm.
don't want to have that. A lot of, and we do that with so many other decisions outside of business. But with that being the topic right now, I think a lot of people do that. I've seen people that, I'm gonna be honest, I've seen people that have, from what it looks like, seen more success than me with us starting at similar times or not too far apart. And then, they're like, yeah, I'm done, or this, that, and the other. And I'm just looking at them like, yo, you ain't even really put in the time. And I guess what I do to people, just, I don't do it to them, but in my mind, I'm thinking like, man, I've been at this music since I was 13. You know what I'm saying? And my goals and my ambitions, all of those things have changed as I've grown, as far as on what I want, what I deem as success, and the whole nine. So to quit prematurely, in my opinion, it's like, how do you know that you're not going to shift into a different direction? And we see businesses do that all day long, like Amazon being a book company before they started. You know what I'm saying? Apple was Macintosh, before a lot of us were born. And then they got into these different games. I mean, even a cool story for me is like, even somebody like with Steve Jobs, when he basically, I think he got voted out the company for a while,
Yeah.
and then he went and started Pixar.
Hmm.
So I mean, sometimes people will quit for you. You know, they'll force, what is it called in the work industry? Force of quit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you have all these different scenarios where it happens, but obviously some work was not finished. There was some stones that wasn't turned yet, and these people decided to keep going. But I think when you have your mind set, when you weigh out the pros and cons, and you just feel like, yo, if I just let this go, I feel like I'm gonna be stress free. I'm gonna be happy. My mental is gonna be here. I don't think there's anything ever wrong with, and we'll use the word retire for the sensitive ears instead of the Q word is quit. And so I think when you retire from something, but you're more, you're confident in letting it go as you were when you started. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think that sometimes people try to blur lines that you can clearly tell didn't need to be blurred, or it's pretty black or white. It's like, did you put in the work? You know,
Yeah, no, 100%.
oh,
And
I didn't get this, I'm not getting that. I mean, me and you, we have the conversation off mic all the time about the way opportunities are distributed in the businesses that we're in, or just in the community that we're in. And sometimes it's me, ranting, venting. Sometimes it's you ranting or venting. But I think a lot of times we end the conversation with an understanding of why things are the way they are, so that whatever direction we decide to go in, we're going to be comfortable with it. You know what I'm saying?
well, you said something and doing the work. And so I feel like if you've done the work, right,
Mm-hmm.
and you've been at it long enough,
Yeah.
and a lot of things haven't shifted or come to fruition or progress for you,
Yeah.
then it might be time to quit or possibly shift gears. I feel like with what you said about Steve Jobs, he was voted out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like he just shifted gears and
Right.
created Pixar, because Pixar is not Apple.
Yeah.
It's something completely different. So he shifted gears
Mm-hmm.
and actually came full circle, and he ended up back with the company.
Yeah.
And things actually progress and elevated for him afterwards. So there's nothing wrong with shifting gears. There's
Right.
nothing wrong with taking a step back. And then if you feel like you've exhausted all of your options, your
Right.
resources after doing all the work, then it might be time to fall back and find something else. But you never know.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? That's why, like, I guess you could say feeling confident definitely with that decision definitely makes a big difference. I mean, like, I had a goal list that I started probably back in the 2010,
Okay.
2011, something like that.
Okay.
And I didn't really know how I was going to execute any of it. I just know there were certain things I wanted to do, certain things I wanted to make happen. And a lot of those things didn't come to fruition until like 2018, 2019.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was an uphill battle. There was a lot of work that had to be done. There was a lot of grinding. There was, you know what I'm saying, some disappointments, some letdowns. And I mean, of course, there was times where I felt like quitting. Like,
Yeah,
bro,
for sure.
like, I'm exhausted. Like, yeah, I still love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, but does it love me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's like,
the game
it was
is.
like, man, I'm kind of over this. But I was like, you know what? There's things that I haven't even touched yet that I want to do.
That's what keeps me going a lot.
Yeah,
When I feel that way.
When you have goals, you know what I'm saying, and you're really adamant about your goals,
Mm-hmm.
then it hits different. The whole thought of like quitting, I mean, it might cross your mind, because at any point in time when you're exhausted and you've been, out here grinding, I'm tired, boss.
For real.
You know what I'm
Tired.
saying? But it was like, there's so much more I feel I can do. If I quit now, then what could have been? What if? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was like, boom, I was able to make this happen. And then, the business started, and the website came, and the brand came with the clothing. All these things were on my list.
Yeah.
All these things were on the list.
Right.
But we talking 7, 8, 9 years ago that I put this list together, and now it's starting to come to fruition. But I also did the work. I stayed consistent. I pushed a hard line, and you have to do that. You have to do that, and that's what I'm saying. If you've done all of that and it's feeling like it's time to let it go, because things aren't, then let it go.
And sometimes like industries change where it's like, dang, what was once in demand for me is not, it's almost obsolete. So, you have a lot of scenarios like that where it's like, all right, I need to either innovate or I need to vacate.
I started off customizing kicks before I moved to cleaning.
Yeah.
I was doing customs and things of that nature, and then it was out of nowhere, everybody's doing customs. Everybody. DIY customs,
The
like,
original.
showing you how to. So I was
One
like,
of the original
yo,
influencers, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
time to shift gears.
Yeah, for
I was
sure. When the
like,
game starts
what?
getting oversaturated, it's one of those things where you want to, all right, I need to shift gears for a minute because I
Have
see
to.
what's going on.
Have to.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it might be better to go about it this way. And like the book Contagious, it talks about emotions, invoking feelings, and things of that nature, right?
Oh, we giving away game. Yeah, it does talk away. Yeah, it does talk about
They're
that
not
a
gonna
lot.
go get the book. So,
It's not a book. It's an article.
but the thing about it was like, I thought, and I'm like, okay, so people who already have shoes, they're attached to these shoes. They feel some type of way about these
Yeah.
shoes. And if they
It's a
have
personal. Yeah.
roughed them up, turfed them, stained them or whatever, I'm sure they're thinking about all the good times and they would love to have these shoes back as opposed to buying new ones or looking to get a custom, which both can be expensive, buying new shoes or getting a custom.
Absolutely.
So if I offer services to be able to clean and restore these shoes back to how they used to be or as close as possible to give you more life out of them and an option to wear again,
Right.
people gonna go for that.
Right.
And
For
so
sure.
I shifted gears.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, had to make something happen. I mean, honestly, when the world closed, I had to shift gears.
Yeah, man. A lot of businesses. It's crazy because a lot of businesses went through it. A lot of businesses closed down and are closing down as of today. But so many businesses started. Like, I remember seeing. I haven't watched the episode. I just seen a clip on social media where this maybe about 1 or 2 years before the pandemic happened, this lady was on Shark Tank and she was trying to promote masks. She was trying to these different masks with the different colors, and they were just like, they basically hit her with the Randy Jackson, like, it's a no from me, dog. And then hopefully she was still rocking, and then this pandemic happened, and I bet like
She's a
orders.
multi-millionaire now.
Next week on Boss Talk, we'll have her come in and explain her story.
I mean, you never know though, and that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying by like giving up too soon, not quitting, staying consistent. Because if she's still at it when that pandemic happened, there's a good chance that she was overwhelmed with orders.
Oh yeah, she's definitely probably papered up right now.
You see what I'm
Definitely
saying? And you
established.
never know what can happen, how things can shift in your favor, what can transpire. So
And with things you might miss out on doing that.
yeah, if you quit
Sheesh,
prematurely,
yeah.
if you don't stick it out, if you don't stay consistent, so it's definitely something that you have to really be comfortable and confident in when you make that decision. And then you gotta start filling out applications because you still gotta work.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, bro. That's another thing for me. I don't want to work for anybody else.
Yeah.
I
It's
like
very
my boss.
challenging.
He's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? He's very understanding.
Y'all wear the same stuff every day, don't y'all?
Yeah, we twinsies. Boss. It's not, so but it's better for me from a mental standpoint. All the same rep though, like ain't really no off days or no downtime. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely consistently pushing a hard line, but working for me is better than working for others for sure.
And you know what? I think that's the point. Like sometimes people may have distorted reasons or the wrong reasons for why they want to get into this game and why they want to do this. So like you said that one of the things that you look at is, I'm not really big on wanting to work for somebody else, but that's not your driving force. That's just something that you understand about yourself personally as far as in the way you work. And sometimes people are like, yo, I'm tired of the 9 to 5 and and that's why I used to despise the way people would lead with, hey, are you tired of working 40 hours a week? And and it's like,
You work for yourself, you're gonna work 60 hours a week.
yeah, and that's a regular schedule. But the thing is it's like when you see stuff like that, it's like if you make that your sole reason, you better not have any issues with motivation, because you need so much more. Just from my experience, in my opinion, you need so much more than just one reason sometimes to start and to continue doing what you're doing. If it's like when people say, oh, if you're doing it for the money, well, the money isn't always good. That's even with a 9 to 5.
Money isn't always there.
Yeah.
It's passion. It's
Yeah.
love. It's like it's a real passion.
Passion,
I
love,
and
appreciation.
everything that I do and that I'm a part of and that I've invested my time in. I love it all.
That's the
appreciate
big
it
part,
all. You feel
the
me?
investment in the way you're investing. You know what I'm saying? As far as, your heart and soul and knowledge and patience and
I wouldn't give the same effort, energy, or attention to anything else the way that I do what it is that I do.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And it's
Exactly.
because of the love. It's because of the passion. I mean, I feel like that's one of the things that will keep you from quitting.
Well, you mentioned in past episodes that like the business that's like your baby. And like being a parent now, it makes a whole lot more sense how somebody can correlate something that you're passionate about, like it's your baby. It's no different than like somebody that got their dream car and they're every Saturday without missing a beat. They're shining it, they're waxing it, they got it covered, they're backing it in the garage. They only drive it on certain days. You don't even see it during the wintertime. And you really do have to treat your business like your baby. You really and that's why sometimes I do understand CEOs that are assholes.
Oh well, it's like you know how hard it is to be a one person operation. And
Oh
you might
yeah,
be
for sure.
conversing with somebody and they'll be like, well, why don't you just bring up somebody in or get somebody else to help with this? And I'd be like, would you allow just anybody to watch your 1 month, 1 year old? Would you? No, you wouldn't. And I feel the same way about the business because I care about it enough to put in the time, the effort, and the energy for the little things as well as the bigger things. It all matters.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? And I mean, yeah, you can get somebody to watch your kid, but they're not going to watch your kid how you're going to tend to your kid.
Exactly.
See the difference in the
Yeah.
words? They're going to watch your kid. You're going to tend to your kid.
Yeah.
There's a complete difference in that.
It's just like this is like the concept of like there's a difference between raising a kid and maintaining a kid.
100%.
You know what I mean? You're gonna, a lot of times you're gonna do what's needed, the necessities, but then there's so much that goes into it, and that's why I love the comparison to a certain degree about it.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I'm not going to go too far, but I mean, like, there is a certain amount of time, effort, and attention that you'll give your business that nobody else will. Just the same way, time, effort, and energy you'll put into your child that nobody else will.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Like, I birthed this kid. I brought this kid into the world. I birthed this business. I brought it into the world.
Right. Right.
So
I'm giving it my all.
100%.
All of that stuff, and it's almost like when you see one business absorb another business. It's not to say that when they decided to sell their business that they didn't care about it anymore, but most businesses, and I think there was a brother doing a speech talking about this, and I thought it was dope. Most businesses are really important to a lot of these owners because their name is attached. The Wall family, well, Walmart's, Walgreens, like all of these different names, Kraft, like those are somebody's last name. We discussed hustling because of the last name and not the first. So that just goes to show you, the importance of what you're doing. But when you go back and you look at some of these stories on how these businesses were built, you're like, man, that was crazy, or wow, and they're third and fourth generation people. Business has been around for 100 years. Like that's some serious dedication, some focus, some planning. There's a whole lot of I'm gonna quit tomorrow, and
one of the crazy things about that, these businesses that's been around for 180 years, but didn't get that big break until 20 years ago.
Right.
30 years
Right.
ago.
Right.
Like if you look up, I think it's Starbucks has been around for.
Yeah.
They had been around for a while, but they didn't get that big break till like back in like the late 2000, like 1990 to 2000. Then from there on, they just skyrocketed.
Exactly.
But they was around for like 30, 40 years before that happened.
Right.
And it
There's
just
so
goes
many
to
businesses
show,
like that
yeah,
where
and
it's
that's what I'm
just
saying.
now.
You have to stay consistent. You
Yeah.
have to keep pushing a hard line. You have to endure.
Mm-hmm.
You have to endure. You have to have that stamina. Like it's, kind of go back to what with Nipsey Hussle. It's a marathon. It's not a race.
Mm-hmm.
It's a marathon, and in the marathon, you have to make sure that you're keeping pace.
Right.
You have the stamina. You stay focused.
Right.
You stay consistent.
Absolutely.
Right, because it's a marathon. It's not a race. A race is quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, but a marathon, a race could be a mile. Marathon
you gotta
is
pace yourself.
26.6. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's different.
Yeah.
And you have to have that understanding, even getting involved, because if you don't, you're gonna quit, and that might be your best bet if you lack the understanding to go ahead and quit and
Right.
find something else. And that, don't take any offense to that, but if you lack the understanding to know what it is you're getting involved in and what it's gonna consist of, right?
Right.
And how you're gonna have to endure, how demanding it is, it might be time to quit.
It might be,
and that's okay.
And I think doing all of that, everything that we talked about, the dedication to put in time, put in years, and then you sit back one day and you're like, you know what, because I think this is something important that people need to know. If you have a moment where you sit back and you say, I'm not angry, I'm not upset, but I've missed so many things that I really wanted to do outside of this. And I think if I retire from this, I'll be able to do a lot of things in life that I really care about. I definitely think it's a good idea. I definitely
100%.
think it's like, all right, you know what, let's walk away from this. And the reason why I feel that way is because you see it all the time. When you see celebrities, when you see athletes, they're happy. I mean, you see the determination, the hard work, and the ambition and all of that stuff when they are practicing their profession.
Mm-hmm.
But when they get out, they seem hella happy. They seem excited. They're, even when people see them in the streets and they chilling, they're relaxed. They done put on some pounds and and everything. But they really, a lot of them do seem happy.
There's something else
especially when
about
they're
that.
fulfilled.
There's something about that though. Yeah, fulfilled. But there's also one other thing. They left it all out there. And that's what I mean by, if you put in the time, the effort, the energy, you've done X, Y, and Z, you've made some progress, you've hit some milestones, some things have happened for you, and you're like, you know what? I've done this, I've done that, and I am satisfied with what it is I've done, what it is I've been able to execute, accomplish, and make happen. And you can sit back and say, I left it all on the field. You know what I'm saying? Theoretically, because we're not out there, on the field. But you can say, I left it all on the field. I did that. And you
For
feel
sure.
like you want to hang it up, then, man, hang it up. Because you are going to have no regrets. You are going to be happy afterwards. You are going to be content with where because you know that I left it all out there. I did everything. I put forth the effort, the energy, the time. Everything's been invested, and I made some things happen. And you know what? It's time for something else.
That's why I believe and I appreciate when whether it's a life coach or a sports coach, when they say, give the best you can, give all you got, because you will know.
No regret.
When you sit down by yourself and you're dwelling on the situation or you're thinking about the situation, you know. And you can say, you know what? I put in the time, I put in the effort. I got this close. But I'm satisfied. And we see that with hoop. There's a lot of legends that I thought at some point in time that they were going to eventually get a championship, and they didn't. And that probably does bother them to a certain degree. But
That stings.
But they can go back and they can be like, I put in the time though. Like I did what and they show that by like still associating with the sport. They're an analyst. Or there's other ways that they're acknowledged, like, I didn't get a championship, but I'm in the Hall of Fame.
I'm about to say, being in the Hall of Fame ain't nothing to, blink at.
Yeah, that ain't nothing to blink at all. Because there's a lot of people with multiple championships because they were on lucky teams and they're not going to see the Hall of Fame. They're not getting a documentary.
No.
So those are great examples too of people that say, man, I left it all on the floor. I think Jordan said that about Kobe. At his memorial service, had a service, he said he left nothing in the tank.
Yeah.
I mean, dropped 60 his last game he ever played. I mean, that's a pretty good example. Like, I'm giving you everything I got. And so I think when you do that and then you decide, all right, I'm done. I've done what I could. And I'm actually okay with the body of work of whatever it is that you've done. It's not even really quitting. It's, I retired. I did what I did.
Like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I've accomplished a lot of things that I set out to do, that I've written down. A lot of things in the goal list have been knocked out. I've done things that I was the first person in my family to do it. I've done things that other people can't say they've done. Like,
right.
There's a lot of things that I've accomplished and I've executed, but I still have more in the tank.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and so that's where it's like, I'm not done yet. I can't, because if I quit now, you feel me? I feel like I'm reaching a certain level and I'm knocking at the door of some things. So if I quit now, I fall short, and I still have stuff left in the tank. So then I have regrets,
right?
And we can't have that,
right?
So, but yeah, if you left it all out there, man, there's nothing left in the tank, and you're satisfied with what you've been able to do.
Yeah, and sometimes quitting is also quitting what you were doing in the way you did it and switching things up. Kind of like how we've seen businesses innovate, because a lot of businesses started out one way and then it's like, wow, like you used to just do this and this. Now you offer this, and this. You've evolved into something totally different.
Like you said, Amazon Books went to just Amazon,
or everything,
the mega store.
Yeah.
Like other businesses are trying to compete with them now. They're trying to be like Amazon now, because they are, I don't know if I want to say top tier, but they the big dog.
Yeah, they are definitely the big dogs. They're definitely the Bulls in the 90s right now.
Man, like, is there anything they don't do? They don't stop.
Yeah.
That's what,
Yeah.
hey,
They
man.
giving Diddy a run for his money right now with the
Bruh.
can't stop, won't stop.
What? Take
but
that.
but I will say that I remember watching it was kind of like an example from Simon Sinek when he was talking about the why in a business, and it was a really really good example, and I've watched it several times for motivation. But he brought up Apple, and he brought up the fact that Apple is not a cell phone company.
At all.
And that's like what the point is sometimes quitting, like, and saying, this is what we're going to drive our focus to be. We're going to evolve. It's not a phone company. It's just the most popular piece of the company. It's a computer company. People forget that.
I mean,
That's why
phones or mini computers, but whatever.
Exactly. But you still have to go to a phone company to get that phone.
I mean, Google making phones.
Yeah, they get Google wilding.
Google making phones. I ain't gonna lie though, they camera quality.
That's what I'm saying. They wilding. They out here for blood when it comes to competition. I'll tell you that right now.
But nice with it.
But yeah, like in that instance, you could take those examples. People could take those examples for the listeners. You could take those examples and say, you know what, I'm gonna quit focusing on this and see what I can do with this. Because sometimes people do things that they're interested in instead of things that they're talented at. And that gets you in a lot of trouble too, because your talent can put you in a position to be able to evolve. And I've seen it, you've seen it. A lot of people in hip hop culture have seen what their talents have given them abilities to do, whether it's acting. I mean, in this day and age, you have Jadakiss selling coffee. LL Cool J has been acting for God knows how long.
Styles P, Lil Farming with the Pharmacy for Life, Black Seed Oil.
You see what I'm saying?
It's like
people are everywhere doing. I mean,
people forget Common is a rapper. He is not an actor.
He's not an actor.
He's
an actor, but he's not known in the hip hop community.
From that, he used to be a rapper.
Right.
Like it's just crazy.
Or
it's
even like the fact that like you take a Ray J, when people thought like, oh yeah, he's kind of goofy in here there. He's definitely entertaining, but dude has came out with so much different tech that people really do stand behind. And it's like, that's the power of saying, it's not necessarily saying that these people quit, but they quit making the thing that they were doing their only focus. But at the same time, to the other point I was making, is they let their talents evolve them into something else.
Open up other doors.
Yeah, definitely open up other doors. So quitting can mean more than one thing depending on the situation or depending on how you're dealing with the situation. You know what I mean?
100%.
It's basically some positives in retiring if you can allow yourself to see that.
No, 100%. I mean, I feel like you should have an exit strategy as well.
True.
I don't, you know what I'm saying? I think that's something that isn't talked about or spoken up enough about. Like, in creating a business, you also need to have an exit strategy for when it's time for you to leave, or if you're put in a position to be able to sell.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you should have an exit strategy one way or another, and that's not called quitting, is it?
Nope. Not at all.
I mean, if you have an exit strategy and you feel it's time to execute on that strategy, then that's not quitting. That's just saying it's time for me to move on to, different things, possibly bigger and better things, shift gears and put my focus into something else, But I'm finna exit.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like what venture capitalists do. I'm going to go buy this business and that business. I'm going to sell this and get this big business and sell them in the small businesses. Some people, that is their passion. You know what I mean? And the crazy thing about that being a passion for a venture capitalist is they're always start, finish, go on to the next thing. So in a sense, they're like quitting positively. If you think about it, you know what I mean? So
I mean, all businesses ain't good businesses, and sometimes you find that out after you get into the business.
Yeah. Yeah, and you take something away from that. You take a learning lesson. You get some knowledge about the business that you might be able to give to somebody that can flip it or remix it in a different way that's successful for them. So yeah, it's so much you can get out of it. Either direction you go, I think the most important thing is your mindset. What is your mindset going into it? being a part of it and finishing it.
Like you said, your why. The why matters more than anything, because the why will help you stay consistent and push through on the days you don't feel like it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
And if your why is money, then you're gonna quit prematurely, and not even so much prematurely, but just because you're not built for it.
I think that's why a lot of people, especially rappers, why they would always say they do stuff for their kids, because I think that's like the ultimate motivation for some people, or just like some people. I mean, for people that don't have kids, their motivation might be their grandma, their mother, the little brother, their nephew, whoever it is that has an impact on them, that's watching them 24/7. A lot of times they attach that to their why because they know their history of running out of gas in certain situations where they probably weren't prepared or ready to. So it's like, oh, I got to get up and I got to,
Do it for my seeds.
Yeah, got to do it for my seeds. For the sneakerheads, I got to do it for the kicks. I got to get some more kicks, man. I can't.
I mean, if that's how you feeling, I don't even, man, I got a secret. I haven't bought any kicks in like a year at least.
I mean, when you say buy, does it count if like you got gift cards, but it's not your money? It's like somebody else's
A purchase is a purchase.
But if you didn't like buy
a purchase
them,
is a purchase.
But what if like somebody
A purchase is a purchase.
Well, I didn't
regardless of
purchase
how you had to input the information for it to go through.
Yeah.
You have to execute on that. I haven't bought anything.
But my balance did not change.
Perfect. That's even better. That's great. I didn't say I don't have. I didn't say I don't have new kicks. Such as I haven't purchased any others.
Now I feel better about my scenario. Yeah, I haven't bought kicks in almost a year.
You haven't spent money on kicks.
Yeah, I haven't bought kicks. Yeah, same thing.
You've been executing on gift cards and whatnot, and that's cool too.
Yeah.
I haven't done that at all. Trade block, should look into that. They allow you to trade kicks and get new stuff and things of that nature.
My man has taken over a different industry that you guys know nothing about. By the time you find out, ha ha.
Yeah, I've already made my exit. I had an exit strategy, and I'm already out of there. I did what I needed to do, and I'm done.
Ladies and gentlemen, fast retirement.
Man, look. Hey, like you said, it's like venture capitalists. You gotta know how to stick and move.
You gotta stick and move.
You get into it, you make your profit, you get out of there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's another problem, sticking around too long.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, we've seen the results of that.
Expiration dates are on everything.
Yeah.
So,
expiration dates are definitely on everything, man.
You stick around too long, it go bad.
Mm-hmm. Now you eating molded bread by force.
That's if you even have any bread.
That's real, man. Well, we gonna get up out of here, do what we do.
He remixed it on y'all.
Hey man, I got a Dougie Fresh it. Anyways, you've been tuning into the No Shim Podcast. This is your boy Dizzy D Spill with my co-host in the building,
Jelani Evans, Kicks and Sneakers.
And you've been listening to a special segment called Boss Talk. So if you want to keep up with these episodes, if you want to keep up with the Notion, if you want to go back to past episodes, because we have officially hit 100 episodes, you know where to find us. We are on YouTube. So if you're watching us on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, give us conversations that you want us to talk about, things you want us to cover. Also follow us on Twitter, Instagram. We everywhere.
YouTube, tap in, emails, DMs, all of that.
So holler at us. And if you don't have any dope merch from Kicks and Sneakers or Lavora Cole, you know where to find us too.
Stay tuned though.
Until next time, peace.